thing working? Give me some sound over here.
Yeah.
The Out of Bounds Show is powered by the award-winning golf courses at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
And good morning. Welcome in to the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. You can watch the show right now. There's no telling what will happen. But you can watch the show on YouTube or Facebook. On YouTube, you can search Out of Bounds Sports. On Facebook, you can search the Out of Bounds Show. This segment's brought to you by the bone-in ribeye at Koestler Prime in the Renaissance. Medium rare, side of scallops. Pair it with a Four Roses Bourbon Old Fashioned, and you'll be happy. We were there last night. Let's bring in Chris, Blake. Chris Robertson.
Hey.
Manager of Koestler Prime, joining us on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Chris, good morning. Happy holidays, and thanks for overserving me last night.
Well, we pretty much just did what you told us to do.
How are you? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been great. Actually, I think it was about a year ago this time that we did it.
I think it
sometime.
was.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back.
Well, we're glad you're in studio along with Kevin and
Gian.
I got it. Gian. I got to get that. He's a new guy, all right? So just give me there. I need to write that down.
He's a new guy, but an old soul.
Okay. Gian is with us. Kevin's with us. Obviously, Ashley, Blakey Blakester. I'm your host, Bo Bounce. All right, Chris, are we going to go with, what are you doing first, Kevin? Tito's or Four Roses?
I'm going to do my Four Roses cocktail
Great.
first.
Chris, will you walk me through the, is
Yeah,
that how we're doing
absolutely.
this?
Yeah,
So-
sounds good to me.
Okay, great.
'Tis the season, of course, and 'tis the season to be drinking. Everybody's meeting back up. You want something a little more heartfelt, a little heartier in the palate, you know, something that's going to warm you up, but also notes of winter, notes of herbs, spice, stuff like that. During the summer, you want something super refreshing. So Kevin's working with Four Roses, and today he's combining it with a ancho liqueur. This is Ancho Reyes. It's fantastic. Think of yourself as kind of like a plate on old fashioned that's going to have a little residual sting to it. That's just going to linger for a moment.
Okay.
A little other secret ingredient he's using that is velvet falernum, which is the cornerstone of many tiki culture drinks.
I'm sorry.
Whoa,
And-
say that
Yeah,
again.
that's-
Velvet
I'm
what?
sorry. It's commonplace for me. Velvet falernum. This is old school tiki, but what it is it's a kind of citrusy, but it's clove liqueur. So those cloves. Clove to me always brings in notes of Christmas. I just think of it.
I have never heard of that. Blake, have you?
I've not had clove liqueur, but obviously I'm aware of what cloves are in both cooking and like clove cigarettes, all that stuff. So, I mean, it makes sense.
And that's the beautiful thing
Clove
about
cigarette.
Out of Bounds. It's broadening the mind every day.
That's right. I love it, dude.
Chris Robertson on the Out of Bounds Show with Koestler Prime. Chris reminds me of an actor that is, I can't pull it. He's been in some really good movies.
You're
Brad
thinking of a
Pitt.
specific person.
Well, Brad Pitt, exactly. What?
No, we're not talking looks. We're talking about
Chris. I mean, Blake. All right, so he's kind of a.
I'm with you.
He's kind of a big personality, party guy. He's been in some great movies. He may have a little bit of European.
I get a little bit of a Johnny Depp vibe from Chris.
No,
I know
that's
that's not
not
who
what
you're
I'm
thinking, but the
thinking.
attitude is still the same. Cavalier, a
Yeah,
little
no,
bit
you
on the
can keep
edge.
going.
This
with
is
this. This
this
is
is
fine.
driving. This is
What
gonna-
movie's he in?
I can't. You know, I can't ever remember the names of
No.
movies. I only know
What
sad.
thematically was it about? Like dinosaurs, gladiator?
I'm
What's-
trying to put, and I'm thinking about Cigar Aficionado over here because I'm trying to piece it together if this guy was featured
You're saying he's De Niro? Is that?
within the last few years. And I know Chris looks like this guy too. Or,
Chris looks okay. All right. If he looks like him, Chris Farley, is that what we're?
no,
I'm gonna bring you
man,
back
you
down.
are just not
Heavens.
helping
You're on one.
whatsoever. This segment's gone. to
I have
hell.
no idea who you're talking about.
All right,
I don't
anyway,
know.
Back to Chris. Man, thank you so much, Kevin.
Somebody get on. Oh, Philip Seymour Hoffman. That's who you're thinking of.
I think that's who it is.
No, I love Philip
Scott
Seymour
just texted.
Hoffman.
He must be watching
He's
the show.
watching. Let me.
You know what?
yes,
And
yes,
you
yes,
have
yes,
a little
yes.
bit of that attitude too.
That's who it is.
Slightly haughty without an air of arrogance.
I
Right?
actually, I was bartending in California, and he sat at my bar and just read scripts for 4 hours.
That's it. It's Philip Seymour Hoffman. Did you?
He's
really
in some of my
meet him?
favorite movies. Yeah, he's just a really cool, down to earth guy.
Oh my
That's awesome.
That is
It's one of those
too
beautiful
cool.
things that happens in California where you can be a daytime bartender with nobody at your bar, and then all of a sudden an actor walks in, very famous, but in a ball cap, and just reads scripts for 4 hours.
Read scripts.
I love that. You know, you are right. You're Philip Seymour Hoffman with more hair.
I've always treasured my hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't have any. So, all right,
Me
so
either.
I'm trying to find the movie.
That's so
that
funny.
Recently, I have watched.
Have you tried that drink, by the way, since
No,
you
I
just
need
brought
to
it?
do
Why don't you
that.
try that?
right.
I want to know what it tastes like. Kevin's making me one.
So let that sit on the palate, let it kind of roll around, and we call
Lord,
that
it smells
blossoming
great.
as it really just
Blossom.
envelops the flavors in your mouth. And then that lingering note of chili, that little sting on the tongue.
Is it an aftertaste or what?
Mhm.
Okay, so one more time.
Oh,
What's in
good
the
Lord,
drink?
that is delicious.
Kevin's
Isn't it
making
though?
me one so I can try it.
Okay, good.
What's in the drink?
So again, that's going to be Four Roses small batch. I know how we're a fan of Four Roses here,
Yes, we
and we're a fan of the small batch. Which, if you've never bought the small batch before, if you only bought Yellow Label, jump into the small batch. It's not that much more, but it's got great pepper and spice notes to it. It's fantastic.
It's only $30.
Drinking, and it's cheap enough that you can mix it or drink it straight. So
That's right.
absolutely,
You can find it at Nate Dogg's, Briarwood Wine and Spirits.
The dog always has it.
The big bad dog.
Okay.
Leslie's going to kill me for saying that.
Well, the best is when you impersonated people that come in Koestler Prime and they go, "Where's the dog?" And, and
God,
you kind of got baptized with that with the last 2 years.
It was some of my. It was one of my first days there, actually, behind the desk. You know, just getting to know the regulars. But of course, I knew some of them from Jackson restaurant culture and whatnot, and working at Shapley's, which is now Koestler Prime, and getting to know that and knowing that it's fine dining. And then, of course, you have some people walk in and go, "Where's the dog at?" I'm like,
dog.
"No, the dog." "Oh, you mean Nathan? Let me go find Nathan for you."
That's so good. Chris Robertson on the Out of Bounds show, manager at Koestler Prime. Here's what I've been watching lately on, and I know we're jumping around here. You're just gonna have to follow us. Chris looks and kind of talks and has the same mannerisms, if you will, as Philip Seymour Hoffman, who is a brilliant actor.
Yes.
And Chris has got a little bit of like, I wouldn't be surprised if he was on Broadway at some point in his life or something. Like I could see him at, New Stage or whatever. Anyway, Moneyball.
The GM.
Hoffman.
Yeah.
He's the manager of the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
And he's real witty and he's a smart ass and it's so good.
And he hates Brad Pitt.
And he hates Brad Pitt, but he plays a great role.
Who is also Chris's other alter ego, Brad.
Right. We'll just go somewhere in between the two.
Is he Philip Seymour Hoffman? Is he the most famous person that you met in LA?
Well, I was in San Francisco. Actually, I was in
Francisco, okay.
Oakland for a little of that time too, so really got to know the A's. And when Moneyball came out, it was just absolutely amazing. The book, and everybody was reading it. It was just like this vibe around town and this really great resurgence of energy in the A's and what the A's strategy, if not culture, as a team was about.
Right.
And all of a sudden, a whole city was involved in that, and it was really cool.
It's one of my favorite books.
Really?
Yes.
I love it too.
I mean, but then the movie was really good too.
Yeah, no, I love them both. As far as famous people, man, I don't know. Most of them, they just want to be treated like a normal person. But
Sure.
Dave Grohl was really cool. He came in with his family once.
Wait,
I
from-
think that guy's a
That's
pretty
what's
good
up.
musician.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to say that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
I was living in London, and I was working for film in London, and my job was basically product placement. But I was working for the movie Sahara. I don't know if you remember
Yeah.
that. That was a Clive Cussler novel,
Matthew McConaughey?
adapted by Matthew McConaughey and Steve
Yep.
Zahn.
Great FX movie. Like if you're flipping channels
Oh, yeah,
and
it's a
Sahara
fun
comes on, it's
watch.
kind of it's not a blockbuster by any means, but it's entertaining.
Well, at the premiere that we went to, we were kind of marketing the premiere as well. I was at the bar, and then Matthew McConaughey and Steve Zahn broke away from their press junket and just wanted a beer, and they came up to the bar and ordered beer, and I just said, "Guys, good job." And they said, "Where are you from?" I was like, "Well, I'm from Mississippi, actually." And then Matthew McConaughey just looks at me and goes, "That's cool," and then walked away.
He spent a lot of time here.
Yeah.
Time to kill.
Absolutely.
I served him as a bartender.
That was a good
There you go.
McConaughey
Where were you
voice,
working
by
then?
the way?
Shapley's
Of
Koestler
course,
Prime.
of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I got to know Scott.
Yeah.
And so McConaughey was dating. Well, he was hanging out with Sandra
Right.
Bullock,
They were friends.
and then and then she was also hanging out with one of the waiters. It was
Oh.
phenomenal.
Can I?
Wow.
It was phenomenal.
Can I get another McConaughey impersonation? Because that was really good.
By the way, McConaughey has a new book out.
Well, and did you see his tweet
And-
about the new
Green
book?
light.
If
yeah.
you
Yeah, that I just
if
bought
you
it. I
do
haven't
an
read it yet.
impersonation well enough, and we hashtag Greenlight, he might feature it on his Instagram. He did a whole thing about that yesterday.
Are you
because people have been.
serious?
Yes, go to Matthew McConaughey's Instagram or Twitter feed. He did a whole thing. He's like giving away stuff.
He's
and they're
probably
doing
got
a
at
big
least 100
contest.
followers.
Yeah, a couple hundred. But yeah, if you do an impersonation of McConaughey's voice reading from his book Greenlight, and then you do the hashtags or whatever, he's like doing some giveaway or something about it. I saw it yesterday.
I'm gonna have to get in on that.
Okay,
That's too much.
Your McConaughey was so good.
Chris Robertson with Koestler Prime on the Out of Bounds show last night. One of the girls that was with us, ladies, one of our friends, she had just listened to the McConaughey book on Audible,
Oh, fantastic.
and she was telling us about it on the way to Koestler.
And like
she
I said,
it was awesome.
It's. I read a lot of biographies. I really love memoirs. Are probably my favorite genre, but I'm really excited to read Matthew McConaughey's.
Yeah.
Especially getting into the Lincoln days.
I'm sure he has nothing to talk about, right?
And
No
I'm
stories
sure.
in McConaughey's
the
life.
guy's a great storyteller, and he's got a great voice. I mean, you
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
this thing's
and
going to
he's
do
lived and he's lived a roller coaster life in terms of what he's gotten to do and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Do you drink number 2?
All right, drink number 2. I'll let Chris walk us through that. Chris Robertson on the Out of Bounds show with Koestler Prime. Chris, what is the Tito's?
All right, so this is Gian Fernandez's cocktail of choice. This is going to be an egg white cocktail. So you might think egg white, and you're thinking, well, how in the world does that go into a drink? Well, it's a pretty old style called a flip, where this is going to actually add texture and thickness to the drink without making it super creamy and heavy. If you think about something like an eggnog being a heavy drink,
Man.
this is light but thick.
Oh, really? This may be my cigar
I'm very
cocktail,
confused. I'm confused about
depending
this
on how
egg
this
white.
lands.
So you whip the egg, like what?
You
Explain to me
froth
how
the egg
you.
white.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
so
by
it's
itself.
just egg whites. Well, they do a dry shake first and then with ice. And the whole idea is to liven up, just like when you're cooking. There's so many aspects of making drinks and making food that go right hand in hand.
He just
it's all
cracked
about
an egg
flavor.
into that drink.
Did he really?
What?
What is happening?
Yeah, he can do it one-handed. It's pretty amazing.
That is amazing. So we're like getting Tom Cruise cocktail up in this right now. I mean, we're putting eggs.
You
in
know that's
drinks.
one of my favorite movies.
No, we've talked about it.
Okay.
Everybody, the text line roasts you when you say it's a great movie.
It is a great
It's
movie.
fantastic.
And
movie.
I'll fight somebody.
You'll die on that hill.
I got to tell you, though, on that movie, if you're ever at some kind of Miami bar where there's a bar with 5 rows deep and then the bartender gets on stage to recite poetry, just make the drinks. Come on, man.
Spoken like a true manager right there.
That's right.
I'm trying to sell beer, baby.
He's bartending, now he's in management. He understands. You got to feed the people. All right. Out of Bounds 105.9 The Zone. I think we interrupted you. Did we?
yeah,
talking
continue.
about
With,
his drink.
sorry,
Yeah,
the egg
absolutely.
white threw us
Tito's
off.
vodka drink.
Thrown off.
So, Tito's vodka, the egg white in itself is going to really make this more of the winter cocktail. Not to mention the spice flair that he's going to give to it. But the biggest thing is the texture. Taking it back, this is a heartier drink, but it's not one that's really going to weigh you down. And you're going to notice right when I tell you, great sour notes. They're going to kind of liven you up. Yeah,
Nice.
perfect winter cocktail.
Okay.
And actually, this is a great winter cocktail. And I hate to be gender specific with drinks because I think gender specific drinks have gone out the door.
Yeah.
When you say like your grandfather's drink, well, now, I mean, women love whiskey.
Sure.
Yeah.
Women and whiskey is the name of a Lucero song, I think.
Ooh, I like that.
But yeah, I mean, everybody's branching out. Guys don't exactly want heavy whiskey drinks anymore either. They want something that's a little more flavorful, and that's cocktail culture. It's not anymore about taking the heaviest, hardest thing you can down.
Yeah.
See, that was when I was bartending in the mid-90s.
Yeah, if you didn't take a shot
we were
of
pretty
rye.
basic,
Yeah.
Chris. What your crew is doing now is...
It used to be frou-frou,
Well,
right? That was the thing.
Blake, we'll use a sports analogy. Offensive football in 1995
Absolutely.
compared to the way
Yeah.
offenses are spreading it out, more fun, 2020.
You're saying bartending
That's-
is the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you
bartending
100%.
is, more fun. They're doing more things. I mean, we were doing some things, but nothing like what y'all are doing as far
That's
as
one of
creating
the
cocktails.
that's
those
one of the
cocktails look
beauties
good.
of Koestler Prime and the bar there is that the clientele have given us the ability to sell and create things like this. Right. You can't force drinks like this on a bar that doesn't want it. You know, like let's just say like you can't have egg white cocktails and, you know, pre-prohibition style drinking at a sports bar. They just don't want it.
Yeah.
So
it's why college bars serve, vodka cran and you serve actual cocktail. It's just different clientele.
If I could sum it up, there's the difference between a drink and a cocktail. A cocktail for us is something that's refined. It's a flavor palette, not where you're tasting every separate ingredient, but a gentle amalgam of everything together. And that's what we try to create. And if you watch Gian, you can see that he's now grinding nutmeg across the top with a microplane.
His form on that shake was pristine.
It's real pretty. He practices in the mirror quite a bit. So look at the head of this. This is the egg white froth at the
Gian,
top.
thank you, bud.
Served in a snifter.
Grief. Now look at this.
That's a beautiful drink.
That is a cool. I don't know if you're showing us or Kevin right now on the deal, but that is a beautiful looking drink right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chris, I'm going to do the honors.
Absolutely.
By the way,
Please.
God, they look so good.
Just did his perfect Philip Seymour Hoffman. Seriously, impersonation when he described the last part of this Tito's vodka.
That's true.
Drink. Yeah,
That's true.
I'm serious.
Chris is going to leave here with the ego size
Philip
of
Seymour
Mount,
Hoffman.
Mount Rushmore. Good Lord.
Okay,
Is it good?
it is good.
I gave mine up to pictures.
Chris is right. You think it's going to be heavy, but it's not. I don't know how they pull.
But there is
off.
a texture to it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a weird, sometimes you drink and you get almost like that weird, not milkshake texture, but like that grain. It's not got that grainy
Sure.
heaviness
No, it's
to it.
silky smooth.
Can't wait. It looks amazing.
Wow.
It smells so good with the citrus and the nutmeg. Oh,
And I think that's one of the things I always try to impart onto our bartenders is, when I was talking about cocktail culture and difference between drinks and cocktails, well, there's also a difference between high mixology and let's give the people something they want.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, I learned from Scott every day. One of the things he told me about opening up the restaurant was, I don't know, I just try to give the people stuff they like to eat. And I've taken that into the whole side of bartending.
Can you explain how this is both foam and liquid at the same time? Because I don't understand.
In one word, magic.
Talk to me.
Magic. I love it.
John, did you come up with this recipe?
I did.
Oh, dude, that's impressive.
Oh, nice.
That is, that's quite impressive.
This is what I love about these guys. These are new ideas, new forms of cocktails based on traditional bartending. Turn of the century bartending that was once forgotten and replaced by roses, lime, and grenadine and pool tiki hours.
I love it.
Remember when we used to drink old fashions and they were the standard? You were a bartender at Shapley, so it's a standard sugar cube, bitters, cherry,
Yes.
muddle,
Yes.
whiskey, top with a splash of soda.
Yes.
And we're so far past that now.
Yeah, y'all are. So it's like when Kevin, when y'all were here last year and he did the old fashioned.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't my old fashioned from the mid 90s. That thing was off the chain, so much better, what y'all were doing.
Well, to give you just a quick history lesson, the old fashioned really becoming known as or known from the old fashioned cocktail. The definition of cocktail is just 3 ingredients. It's sweetener, spirit, bitters, which is exactly what the old school old fashioned is. It was back in the day, it was a way to make drinking whiskey easier. Think about your Western saloons. Do you really want to go in and have just a shot of whiskey on a hot day while you're full cowboy gear?
Yeah.
Sometimes it needs to be a little easier.
Right.
Also, we're not cowboys, so we can drink what we want. It's not all rye
That's right.
made in a barrel outside somebody's bathroom.
Right.
It's good whiskey. I love this. I love these cocktails, man. They're good.
This segment has been perfect, from the bartending to the movies to 2 really, really good cocktails. One made with Four Roses Bourbon, the other one with Tito's vodka. I still can't believe that they broke an egg in the
I watched
Seriously.
him. I watched him do it.
I know I couldn't quite see it, but Tito's Santa's a little bit in my way. But
It's all on the cameras. And somebody asked on the text line, yes, it is on YouTube. You can go check it out. Search Out of Bounds Sports.
Search
Or
Out of Bounds
Facebook.
Sports. If you miss it, you can go back to Facebook, search the Out of Bounds Show, watch the segment or any part of the show, and then, like Blake said, or if you're a YouTube guy, you can punch it up there and search Out of Bounds Sports. All right, Chris, we got a couple of minutes here. Let's talk food.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to.
Koestler Prime. Obviously, the staples. I mean,
Sure.
the steak is amazing. We've got the bone in, we got the regular, and so on. I had the ribeye last night, medium rare. It was phenomenal.
That's a fantastic way to have it.
Yeah. And so you took me there last year, by the way.
Yeah.
I was eating my steaks too rare.
Well, that's what I was trying to tell you last year. And by the way, I got a lot of flack from that when I said maybe even try it medium.
Yeah.
I understand you all hated that.
But medium at Koestler Prime is different than
It's
most
different
people
than
at
other
Saturday
mediums.
night
Right.
on their grill.
The whole thing is you really need some heat to go into that steak to start rendering that fat. Otherwise, you've just got meat and fat side by side. Once it renders, then it really starts infecting the whole piece, really flavoring every bite that you're going to have. And it becomes that kind of soft, chewy texture instead of, well, frankly, hard fat.
Right. No, and so since then, I have started going medium. So I was way too rare.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, I've gone to medium rare and medium rare plus.
Yeah, cook it a little.
And I agree. You're right. And it doesn't matter what cut.
Well, I think
Filet,
that it's kind of like with whiskey. There's this sense of in drinking and steaks, this machismo with give me the rarest thing you've got. I'm a man. I'll take it. Give me whiskey straight. Let me muzzle up to the bar and take them both. But really, let us cook it for you. That's
Right.
what we do.
No, and I'm glad I never thought about that. And I'm glad that you shared that with us last time we had you on. And that's where I've been
There's
going
science
since.
behind it.
Hey, look, y'all know what you're doing. There's no doubt about that.
I have one more real quick question on
Yeah.
cooking steak.
We've
So
got,
we have this argument all the
minute
time on the text line and Twitters and stuff like that about how, sous vide and all these different things. What do you think about the Pittsburgh style of cooking where it's that hard sear? I'm a cast iron guy, so I cook all my steaks in
Absolutely.
cast irons now, and I play around with how I do it. I've never done the sous vide. I don't necessarily always do Pittsburgh. But
Sous vide to grillers and steaks. Don't get me wrong. There's a time and place for sous vide, but I think it's often considered cheating because you can't burn it. You can't overdo it. Pittsburgh, however, is usually what I tell people as a master class in steaks. If you really know what you're talking about, once somebody orders at Pittsburgh, I'm usually like, no, all right.
Yeah.
Do you guys know how Pittsburgh came about, the word?
No, I don't know why it came. It's one of my favorite ways to do it now in terms of getting that crust.
You got about a minute.
Pittsburgh being a huge steel industry town, workers didn't have a whole lot of time to eat, so guys in the steel mill with their big steel mitts, steak was everywhere. You ate steak all the time as a man. Took the steak, pressed it to the side of the molten vats of steel, 30 seconds aside. That's all they had to cook. And that became Pittsburgh style. Just heavily crusted on the outside, everything trapped on the inside.
Dude, Chris Robertson crushed it today. Koestler Prime. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. And Gian for coming in and mixing up some fantastic Christmas holiday cocktails. Chris, thanks,
Absolutely.
bud.
No, love being here.
Appreciate it. Chris Robertson, KoestlerPrime.com to make a reservation. Thanks for listening to the show. If you missed this segment or anything else, go to Apple Podcasts, search The Out of Bounds Show. To watch it, you can go to YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports. Go to Facebook, search The Out of Bounds Show. Have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow.